Hello again. It is time to get the tractor unstuck again. So I didn't get footage of it, but the first thing I knew I needed was a spot to work that was not in the driveway. So I picked up 4 loads of rock from the quarry, and the neighbors were kind enough to let me borrow their little John Deere so that I could just smooth this out. It was a little soft there, so I did find a spot that it didn't want to get out with a load of rock in the front, and so I had to dump it in a spot that wasn't ideal to get out there, but that's okay because it'll eventually be a driveway actually going off to the left. The clearing spot off to the left there will be the driveway for our little mill area, and it's going to be built actually solid enough and wide enough that a trailer of logs can be brought in if we can find somebody who will sell it to us and deliver it. That's hard to find around here because most of the log companies want to only do large loads where the mill actually has a machine that unloads them pretty quick. So next thing I had to do was unhook the trailer so we can put the winch on the truck. Now my thought was to back the truck just far enough down where I was just clearing that it's out of the way, and then be able to use the winch. Unfortunately, it was definitely too far to get out there, and apparently Emily was trying to show the camera a edible weed. She mentioned something about that to me, and I can't recall the details of it. So maybe she can. But
pineapple weed.
Oh, apparently it's called pineapple weed. All right, so now we're just working on the logistics of making the winch work. We did end the other day with a winch that was bird nested a little bit, so we used the truck to just kind of leave it in first gear and just basically coast, which was enough force to unwind the winch. And now we're going to take advantage of the fact that it's connected between 2 trucks, one of which is in park and the other one is in neutral. We discovered pretty quickly, though, that even with the truck in neutral, there's enough irregularity in the ground here that it would lurch just a little bit, and this cable just really wants to bird nest anytime there's any slack on it. So Emily climbed in the truck and just put just a little bit of pressure on the brakes, and then I used one of the chain locks. Not actually sure what that's called, but I just put it on there just as a safety precaution, so there was some weight in the middle in case for some weird reason it decided it wanted to snap, which, I mean, there's not much pressure on it, but I still had to kind of manipulate it, and ended up even having to unspool some of it to get it to wind properly as it got to the end of the line. Emily turned the wheel, and that actually made a noticeable difference as well. So there's definitely a learning curve with the winch. And I'm gonna leave this in real time because I was quite surprised. In the last, let's see, it was the 18th was when we were out here before, and it's the 22nd. So it's been 4 days of dry weather. That's a big key. So we thought, well, let's just see what happens if I try to just get it out by itself. And admittedly, this would have been easier to do if I'd have had the bucket on it, but I wanted the forks as I was brush hogging because I knew I was going to have to pick up and move some fairly large tree branches. So I'm just using the forks to push down into the dirt, mud, ground, and pull forward, and use the curl on the front loader as I try and drive forward with it in 4-wheel drive. And I tell you, the lock feature for the rear hub on this tractor is just one of the most stupid things I've ever experienced. It's a tiny little lever, spring-loaded lever, that you have to push on with your foot. So you take your left foot off the brake and you push down on this tiny little pedal that's like literally an inch long. It sticks out from the seat assembly about an inch, and it's an inch wide, and it's just a tiny little bar that's bent at a 90-degree angle. And you have to push on that, and you have to push so hard on that it takes weight off the seat. Like, I literally have to start standing on it to get it to work. And then the seat ends up killing the tractor because there's a safety disconnect there. So it is what it is. When I replace this tractor and upgrade it, that's definitely something I will be looking at, is how you lock the differentials so that the tires don't spin freely. So obviously now I've taken the truck out, and I'm going somewhat slow, trying to see the driest areas, which, when the grass is taller than the roof of the cab, it's kind of hard to do. And I'm trying to actually avoid this area up here in front, because I know that's where the tractor was just stuck. So I'm hoping I can work my way through here. It's just starting to bog down just a little bit. And as I got close enough, I realized those trees were too close to squeeze through. Okay. So now I have to back up. And at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to have to winch it out, because I'm like 99% positive I'm going to get stuck again. And I apologize, the camera angle isn't the greatest, because I'm paying more attention to the trees around me than where I was holding the camera. I was hoping to avoid this particular spot here. Ooh. Come on, girl, you can do it. Okay. Of course, now, yeah, I'm gonna have to move the tractor. Oh, sorry. It's freaking allergies. But that's okay. Moving the tractor is easy to do. Alright. Well, we got it unstuck. As you can see, that's what the tire should look like. That's what the tire does look like. And there's a trail of beet juice. We got a view of the valve stem before we moved it this last time, and it is totally missing. I think it's over here. It's just gone. So this is where it'll stay. We'll schedule an appointment to have the tire guys come out. We might see if we can take the tire off myself, but that part isn't the challenge, and even putting it on isn't necessarily the challenge. Getting into a truck bed to transport it is going to be the challenge. So, yeah. Since this is how I would lift 500 pounds. Oh, man, but I'm done. I'm done being out here for a while. Oh, this grass out here is killing me. Uh-oh. Emily's dinosaur weed. Looks like we have a couple of them that are about to go to seed. We'll have to pull them real quick. Emily's on her way back from letting Charlie just run through the forest, which he loves doing. So, we actually ended up not needing anything except the forks to get unstuck. Since it's had a couple of days to dry out, and the last couple of days have really significantly dried things out, where it was stuck, I was able to just use the forks to give just enough forward pressure to pop it from where it was sitting, and then I just drove the rest of the way out on its own. There was one other spot right here, actually, that it almost got stuck, but not quite. So yeah, like I said, this is where it'll stay. We got the winch already. That's been the biggest challenge of using this winch, is trying to just get it to coil and stay coiled properly. Yeah, I got to be really careful about how we use that, because like it'll fit here in this receiver, but I'm pretty sure because this is just an F-150 that doesn't have like the heavy duty off-road 4.71 gear ratio, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that hitch is rated for only 7,000 or 8,000 pounds. It might be 10, but I doubt that it's 12, so that means that the winch is actually more powerful than that. So if I ever use it this way, I gotta be really super careful, but it did work. I mean, it worked really well to drag the truck backwards and get it spooled nicely. Oh man, sorry, these allergies. It's because of all of this crap. And when I dumped this yesterday, I drove over some, as you can see here. So I drove over a bunch of weeds because the edge of the road, actually, from what I built last fall, is actually clear out here, but the grass has come up through all of that. So I intentionally drove along the edge so that the dump trailer could dump as far to the left as possible. And I didn't think about it in time, and I drove through all of this along here with the seeds and pollen and whatever crap blowing right into the truck. So I'm struggling because of that. But that's okay. I'm almost to the point. I think I will probably lay down, I don't know, maybe 10 loads of 3-inch minus, which is what this stuff is. just to get this all smooth. Although we're really yeah, I gotta get all this smoothed out with some rock so that it's drivable all year. But once I get a layer of 3.5 or 3" minus, I can come through with the box blade and level the whole thing out, and then put down some road fabric, and then come back through with some 1.25" and with a layer of 1.25" and then a layer of 5/8 minus, and we'll have a nice firm solid driveway to come in. And I gotta tell you, it's, aside from being bumpy, we drove on this a couple times today. I keep driving on it whenever I can just to make sure I'm packing it down as much as possible. You can see it's started to pack pretty good here where I drove. And it's so much nicer to just come out. The end goal is going to be that it'll fork here, or bifurcate, however you want to look at that. So you'll be able to come in and you'll come straight off the highway until here, and then the one fork will go a nice, really wide, gentle arc coming this way. Specifically wide enough, and the road itself wide enough, and the turn wide enough that semis can come this way and drop off logs and whatever, because over there a ways is where the excuse me, sorry, that's where the milling barn is going to be eventually. So I've got to dig up this stump and clear out all this brush, and then start clearing the path itself. But as I work this, so as I come in with the tractor and dig something up, I'm going to come in with loads of, they call it junk. It's there's actually some stuff that's, 2 foot in diameter rocks, but most of it's 6 inch and smaller. But there's like pieces of metal and branches and stuff like that in it, so they don't want to run it through their crusher, and they sell it for $8 a ton as uncrushed junk, which when I'm trying to fill this crap in with this mud, that kind of stuff will be perfect. And if there's a little bit of trash in it, who cares, because I'm just going to literally I'm starting to break out in hives and itch, so I gotta get in and shower. But anyway, I'll have a layer of nice big junk, and then I can put some 3.5 inch minus on top of that to like smooth it enough to build with the road fabric. So this will be a nice solid road, like I said, for semis to come in, and then there'll actually be a spot where they can turn around the barn. And then they can come out and head out. So when they drop off logs and whatever, that's the plan, that's the goal. It'll probably come from here clear over to about here, so it'll be about 30 feet wide right here through this section, through the turn, because 53-foot trailer needs a lot of width. So anyway, I am done. Oh, we gotta take this off. We gotta figure out how to store that now. That sucker came in handy. So anyway,